In 5, 4, 3, 2. Turn on the torch, light up the flame. Time to melt some glass, my friends. There you are. Here I am to explain, to teach, and create again and again and again and again and again and again and again. That's okay. We'll get there. Wonderful. That's sorry about the commercial, but that's the way life is sometimes. I got to make some money somehow, right? Even though it's a very little bit. So now, um, welcome to the show. And like I said, it's a open request. I'm going to start with one little thing that I'm going to a couple of quick things to repair, but I want to show you one of the latest things that I have been doing. And of course, it's never around when you want it. A couple of them is I did this, which is some nice mermaids. And also another little thing that I've been doing is this guy. Dun, 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 dun. Ugly little sucker. Just some tiki heads. And that's what I'm going to start with after I do. First, I've got to do the tail to this little unicorn that I did so many years ago. It just, the tail, found it and the tail's off. So we're going to put another tail on there. And then we're going to go ahead and just go and make a tiki head. And then from the tiki head, it's open form. You guys can choose what you'd like to see done. And that's the coolest part about it. And of course, I'm going to just turn on the 10 liter per minute at this moment because I'm not going to do something very big, but it does do some nice pressure. And we'll do the trick for what I want to do for right now. And let there be light. Down it goes. Considering how small this thing is, it shouldn't be too quick, too painful to get it done and done right. And just type in the chat room and say hi, and I will chat with you. That's the whole fun part about this, and also happy pre-4th of July and all that sort of good stuff. Yeah, everybody's got that music in their head. Yeah, I know a lot of that music in my head. I used to play the French horn in the bands and stuff like that, so I've got most of it partially memorized at least. So, with that, got the tail on this unicorn. Simple and effective. Probably a little bigger than, yeah, it's bigger than it is, so we're going to shrink it down just slightly. That won't be a bad thing. You can see that, actually, it would work as it is. I'm just being technical at the moment. Bring it down just as, there we go. A little bit more to the right size. And again, we got one unicorn. And now I'm going to make some quick stringers. Hello, Sonia. Nice to see you. Happy 4th of July. You doing anything great for the 4th? Me, myself, I get all the fireworks I need right here, I tell you. I'm going to do, like I say, some quick stringers for the tiki head that I'm going to do real quick. And we will see what we go from there. And again, this is open request. If you have an idea or something that you'd like to see me do, if I can do it, you know me, as quick as I can and as quick as you make the request. I'll see what I can do. There's one of those. Let's do one more. Again, what I'm going to do first is a real quick, what I call a tiki head. It's just a little pendant piece that I've been doing lately. It's kind of nostalgic, I guess. I was born in Hawaii, so Maybe that's why I'm doing them more often now. So so many years ago, I tell that joke to it. Well, two dogs are just staying in. Oh, so you're gonna have two cowering dogs listening to all that boom boom stuff go on, huh? Don't blame me there. Okay, I think one more of those, but and with this we can put this on the end of a rod and a punty and finish it off and stretch it out to it in a rod. And then what I'm going to make the tiki head out of is the one in my left hand. Uh, give dogs and thunder some lightning, or give some dogs some thunder, and they go, oh. Some of them. Some of them it doesn't matter. Talk about dogs. I've got a few myself. Here we go. Now that's made into a nice little stringer. They're a little bit thicker than thin stringers, but they do it will do the job for what I want to do. Let's kick this up a notch. It's not going to be very long and very big. We're probably talking about a half of an inch or so is what the main size of the body is going to be. And I'm going to use a few of my tools of the trade here to just play with. Let you know that you can use some once in a while. Here we go. Let it round in and push it down some. Hello to those in the chat room, or at least that are watching. Again, I'm open to requests tonight. What I'm doing right now is a quick tiki head, and if you have a request, something that you'd like to see me try to do, I am well excited to try to get it done. And, hello, Garrett. You having fun tonight? Press it in just a little bit more. Again, I'm just sort of, what I'm going to do is a tiki head. If you have a request, go ahead and put it out there. Trying to get inspired. Well, the only stupid request is the one you didn't ask. That's the way I look at it. It's the same idea as questions. I know that you think that sometimes people have asked the question 20,000 times, but if you do not know the answer, there were times, yeah, when I called it, I wanted to on behind me when I do a craft show or something, I wanted to do a sign, and on the sign it had uh, answers to 10 questions that people had asked me so many thousands of times, and then when they asked me the question, I could say number 10, number 3, number 4, number 5, and they could go and look behind me and see the right answer. um, just because. Never did. I think the number one question that everybody asks is, have you ever burned yourself? Please. And I ask, have you ever burned yourself? But I tell people it's hot enough to burn you, and sharp enough to cut you. The other one I tell people about is the days that you burn yourself and days of burnt offerings. The days that you cut yourself are days of blood sacrifice. So that's that story. Again, this isn't going to be very, very huge. It's just a little pendant piece that I've just started doing. And you just put a little bit of a ornate stuff going to it. And it has its own little qualities. It's so ugly, you got to love it. You broke all kinds of glass today. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Okay. First of all, I put on the ears, and the ears are just two little bumps, which I'll take with some tweezers and change them up a little bit. I mean, squeeze them and make them look them, you know. Then the next thing I do to these guys is the eyebrows and nose, which is basically this. This is the eyebrows. Yeah, I've got the dogs right here beside me. You can hear them bark. Must be something in the yard or with this much bark going on. No, I don't see anything. Oh, that's not my dogs. This is my next door neighbor dog. Interesting. Everybody's having. Oh, I know what it is. Mine are in the yard and theirs are in the yard, so they're sort of saying hello to each other. Right next to me, of course. Um, Now let's play with this a little bit. Let's do it. Of course. I'm going to just use something to play with the glass and manipulate it to a different location. So again, when I do the eyebrows, I just sort of put them on there, and then I change them around a little bit, move them a little bit. At this size, you can do a lot of play with it. There we go. Any requests? Had a few people watching. Now we want back down to 2 people. Oh, well. Last but not least, what you put on this tiki head is the mouth. And with this nice rusty red, actually it's red exotic encased is what I'm using. And I don't know if I've got that in that particular color encased in a video, but if I don't, I'll make one. How's that sound one of these days? Real quick. Okay. Thinning down a rod or a stringer just a little bit more. And then the mouth, I basically do I don't know, peanut looking shape. That looks like it'll do. And then I manipulate it a little bit. Heat it. There we go. And to augment the color, I've got some jade green. That'll be the teeth and the eyes in the color here. One eye. There we go. There's the other eye. That's the thing about tikis. They don't have to be exact. The uglier they are, the prettier they are, it seems like. Who knew, right? Oh, this is good because it's even... Oops. There we go. There's... What I do is sort of go in there and just dimple the center of the eye to round it out and to give it um, structure, I guess you could say. Ugly. Ugly. But that's what they're supposed to be. Ugly. Now the teeth, I just dot them. Top and bottom. Oops. That one became one, so we'll do one more. It still became one, but we're going to leave it. Press it in there a little bit where they are. There we go. And yeah, they ugly. Now, basically for the bail or the loop, I can use clear, but actually I want to do one more thing. I'm going to do sort of like a little crown all the way around the thing. Okay. And I'm going a couple of times. But then I'm going to go back and heat that sucker up and sort of pull it out and spike each one of these little things. At this size, they're it's pretty durable. You can play with it a lot without it worrying about it exploding on you, especially being Boro. If you're using soft glass to do something like this, I would love to see somebody's idea of what they think of a tiki head. I'm and yeah, you can post it right there on Facebook Melting Memories page. That's what it's all about, folks. I'd love to see some of these that I challenge or show you about on my Melting Memories page. There we are. Now I'm going to put a bail on the top of that, right there in the center of his head, on the top. Okay, let's see, what color should I use? Now let's just make it clear. Nope. Totally different color. I've got some blue exotic right here. Let's see what goes on. Any requests? I'm about finished with this guy, and if not, gotta come up with something, but I'll do it. One more thing, and then that's what I'm gonna call it quits because I do have to work tonight. You know how that goes. But I have the next couple of days off, so I'll probably do something for the 4th and also do something for the 5th. So we'll see. Heat it in, make sure that it's all going to be nice and pliable, coming together well. There we go. And and. I'm going to flatten this and make it into a bail. And just what I mean by flatten is just what I said. Ribbon it like so. Press. Now stretch it and loop it around. Here we go, loop-de-loo. Here we go, loop-de-lie. Here we go, loop-de-loo, all on a Monday night. Well, somebody's got to do it, right? I know, I won't quit my day job. I'm not the best singer in the world. Okay. Came together pretty nice. I'm going to take a graphite rod and ream the loop a little bit. Make it come together well. Let it melt in. Round in quite nicely. Ugly little sucker, ain't he? Tiki puppet heads. Oh, what do you think? I'm a good guy, right? Yeah, that's what I should do. Have start having some of my animals talk after I make them. Hummingbird. Sure, why not? I'm glad you showed up and said something, Sonia. I was wondering if somebody was paying attention. Okay. And there we go. One ugly. I'm not that ugly. Yeah, you are. Okay, I am. I will have a picture of that on the web page shortly. Melting Memories page. Hummingbird. Let's see. Um, oh. No. Let's see. I'm coming up with ideas here. Trying to. Not just a simple hummingbird. Maybe a hummingbird with a red breast, or something like that. Not something normal, but we'll get there. Okay, we're going to just do a regular hummingbird then. And I could also do one, I could do a little flower to go with it. How's that sound? Now let's kick this up a notch. Melt a little bit bigger piece of glass than normal. And I'm also going to put on the other oxygen concentrator, the 5 liter per minute. That'll give it a little bit more kick and oomph. I can melt the glass a little bit quicker. I was doing that small little tiki head, so I didn't really need to have both of them going at the moment. But when you're doing a hummingbird and want to melt a little bit of glass a little faster, this will do. There we go. Now my hummingbirds, I usually make sort of like a little teardrop, and that's the main body of the hummingbird. And then I extend another teardrop in the front, and that becomes the head to the hummingbird. It's not going to be very big, mainly for demonstration purposes. Hey, Crazy, saw that little, I think that was you, that little demo that your nephew did with his aluminum. That was pretty cool. Things you can do in your backyard that you didn't know you could. The other one I've seen done is where they take and melt, they melt down the aluminum and put it down an ant mound and see how far it goes. Now that's pretty cool too. Hey, Demented, nice to see that you showed up. Right now I'm doing a hummingbird, and you missed it. I made a little tiki head a little while ago. And again, I'm open to requests. I've got I've got a little bit of time, but I do have to work tonight. So about at 9 o'clock, I have to close up shop and get her going. You know how that is, so that I can get to work and still be purdy for the day. Now, again, what I do for the hummingbird is a teardrop just like this, and then the head is basically coming off of that near the front. And I usually finally, when I do these things, I have a top, bottom side, left side, right side in mind when I start it. Well, not at first, but then I say this is going to be the top, and that becomes the top of the hummingbird. And even though I might have it upside down, this is still in the right hand going to be the top where the head is going to be. As you flip it over a couple of times, it's still the top. Okay, I'm going to pull that off, and that's going to be the head to the hummingbird. It's basically another teardrop, just a little smaller than the first. And I just keep rounding it until I say, okay, that's about right. Now the wings is what I do next. And that's my fold and pull method normally. But tonight I am going to retro so that other people who haven't gotten the fold and pull down, and I understand that, I make it look easy. But once you get it, it's like, wow. Um, so what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to put a little bit of glass on this side of the wing, on this side for one wing, and let it melt in, nice and even all the way around. And then do another little nub on the same deal on the other side. Okay. And then I'm going to flatten them and pull them out like other people will. Okay. I might not say much or like a lot of things, but I do look at a lot of stuff on Facebook. It's pretty cool. I mean, you gotta have something to entertain yourself, right? Now again, I'm gonna flatten this. I'm using a pair of tweezers, very, very big tweezers, not much, and just bringing it out like so. And I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. Getting it nice and hot and pressing it out like so. And you try to make sure they're pretty much even when you do it. Right, right. Now what I'm going to do is I usually curve them forward. And what you do to curve them is you heat up the glass and get it nice and orange. And you're not trying to pull it hard and heavy. You're just trying to tug it in the right direction. That's what I'm doing. There's one wing. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. If you have another request, think about it. I'm almost through with this hummingbird. I guess I could also do the flower if nobody comes up with the request. And but again, I got to close out at about 9 o'clock. Got to get to work tonight. Again, I tug on it and then pull it in the right direction that I want it to go in. I'm not pulling hard. I'm just easing up the pressure. And when I pull on something and tug it, I'm not really tugging upward. I'm sort of letting it gravity work with me and I tug downward, I guess you could say. That's kind of hard to explain. And then you could add some texture if you wanted to, like so. Texture is always nice to add to a wing. Let's get the other side done. And I'm only using just a pair of needle nose pliers. You don't have, you can get all the bells and whistles and get some nice tools, or if you're just playing with what you got. That's what I do most of the time. There you go. Critters. I manipulate the wings so that they're about the same and about the same direction. Symmetrical, I guess you could say. There we go. Still a little off, but that's what gives it character. There we go. I'll live with that. Now the nose. And again, what I do with the nose is I usually pull downward, because if you're pulling up, you're having to use all that weight with you to, and you're shaking it as you go. But if you pull downward, gravity helps you, and it's just a little bit easier pull, a straight pull for the nose. And what I do is I get a nice little gather going on right at the end of the puntee here. I touch it to where the nose is going to go. Make sure it's well fused together. And then I just pull downward. And it makes it straight for you if you do it right. Oops. There we go. And then you can manipulate it in any direction you want. Nudge it outward. There you go. There we go. I was making sure it was centered and pointing in the right direction. Now, let's give it, I've got some teal green eyes going on here. There's one. Here comes the other. It's always fun trying to put eyes on something. They got to be on the opposite side of the head, and oops, got a little bit nudged together there. Lou and his fancy tools. Thanks, Demented. But I wanted, the reason I do something like that is so that you guys can realize that, yeah, you can buy all the big fancy schmancy tools, or if you just have something laying around, that's what I do. I go to a flea market and I say, hey, that would make a great tool. And the Dollar Tree store. I mean, no, that's probably no. I could use them for advertising, but I went to the Dollar Tree and I got some like tongs like this for $1, and I know that once I put some ceramic stuff on the ends, they'll make great things to throw stuff in the oven with. It doesn't have to be heavy. I mean, it's really heavy and expensive. Just has to work, right? Okay, now the tail, right? The tail. Here we go. Now this time I am going to do the fold and pull method for the tail. Okay. What I do for the tail is basically another little teardrop and flare it out for the tail itself. And I'm going to do sort of like a rounded on both sides thing. I've been doing that lately with my mermaids too. It's turning out really nice. And basically what I mean by that is something like this tail for this mermaid. This is a pretty cool mermaid too. Something I did a little while back. Nice little hollow piece. 88-cent tongs at Wally World. Yep, actually that's what they were. You're right. Sorry, that's where those were. I got them from, not the Dollar Tree, but I was using that as an example. But that's exactly where I got those. 88-cent tongs at Wally World. They had two different sizes, and I also got the fork, and I was going to use that to separate glass from each other, you know, like that. But we'll get there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is just sort of pull out, fold over, pull out, fold over. I'm going to do this on one side here like this. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Touch it too. Pull out, fold over, pull out, fold over, and bring it all together on the other end here. And then just give it a little point. And there we go. And tap it off. Fire polish his nose. Let's see where it goes. Without even trying, it's got a nice little center going on. I say that and it's going to flump over. Okay, so we're going to have to get this in the picture here and flatten it out just a little bit in the back where the tail comes together. And that'll work that. Just a simple nudge. Ta-da! His nose got a little stump too, but we'll fix that real quick. There you go. Now I usually do a matter of fact, nobody's given me out a request, so I'm going to do a real quick uh, what I call the uh, flower to this guy. And it's simple. It is really, really simple. Now all I got to do is find some tubing. I got some 9-wall tubing right here that will make a great flower. And you say, how in the world is that going to become a flower? With a little flair, literally. Okay. I'm heating up the end like so. And then I'm going to add the graphite rod and pull it out a little bit. Let's get some more going on. Doesn't have to be pretty at the moment. It'll get there. You can do it nice and pretty. Flare it out quite like a nice trumpet or whatever, but for what I'm doing, this will do the trick. See there? Starting to look really nice. Flare it out a little bit more. Oops, I'm taking it off. I gotta try to keep it in the scene here so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm sorry. There we go, and that should be enough for the flower. Right there. Okay. My high handy dandy trusty snippers. Heat it up in one spot. Nip it. That's one petal. Well, partial one petal. Here's the one petal. And nip it again. You got two petals. And nip it again. You got three petals. And then you nip it again, and you got the 4 and 5 petal right there. There you go. Now you just take some tweezers and manipulate those a little bit without nipping them together again. Well, I'm sorry, I'm doing that out of the scene again. I got to keep it in scene. There you go. There's another one. Flatten and pull a little bit. Flatten and pull. Two more to go. Oops. And finally, the last petal. And again, this isn't exactly perfect, but what flower? Well, there are some perfect flowers. Don't get me wrong there. But this gives you an idea on how to do a really quick flower with a little bit of flair. And now I'm going to give it some nice little texture too. But I'm going to actually pull it out a little bit more and fire polish these petals, like so. There's one little nip here. There's the next one. Oh yeah, looking good, man, looking good. After this, I think I have to call it quits for the night. But again, I will probably be here tomorrow night. I know everybody else might be out and about, but I think this is fireworks enough for me. Everybody celebrates their independence in different ways, and me, this is my independence, doing my glass. Okay, now I'm going to flare these upwards a little bit, and I can add a little bit of fume to them, but I'm not going to at this point. Make it all nice and clear at the moment. You add some gold fume to it, and you got a nice pink and gold luster flower. You add the silver, and you got a nice gold flower going on. Okay, and now I'm going to just pull off the center here. I'm going to do a cold weld right here and pull off the center like so. Uh-huh. And I'm sorry, Paula. You missed it. I know. I'm sorry. Well, that's a great thing about YouTube is that you can rewind, but you can't see it live. I know. Sorry about that, folks. Looks like we do have 7 people watching in the audience. I'm glad you showed up on short notice, and that's the way I work it. And I'm sorry in some respects, but I will get better eventually. Advertising what 6 weeks in advance that I'll be here? No, probably anywhere from a day to 2 days. I should try to make a commitment and say I will be there at a certain time and be there. And there you go. I don't know if you can see that or not. No, you can't. It's just out of the view. I moved it in a little bit better. And again, you got the hummingbird, and it touches right inside the little cup of the flower, and you got a nice hummingbird and flower set. With that, let's see. I've got 5 minutes, and I better call it quits because I do have to get ready and get going and be there at 10 o'clock. So, oh well. Thank you for being here, people. I really am excited that you showed up, and I enjoy your presence and your comments and your requests. Click like, click subscribe, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, telephone, what? No. Also, if you have future requests, go ahead and put it in the bottom below on the bottom, and say, hey, I would like to see such and such made. I haven't been seeing too many of those done. I mean, but that's what the whole thing is. And also, I do take the live requests, which I think you guys really get a kick out of. And knowing that it wasn't pre-recorded and so on and so forth. But what I did this time around is I put a tail on this little horsey, or unicorn, excuse me. This tail was broken off, and I just put another tail. And then I did this really ugly looking sucker, which is a tiki head pendant with a nice little loop on there. It's one of my latest little flare up designs. Not really big, but just so ugly you gotta love them. And of course, I did the hummingbird with the flower. I hope you enjoyed today's events and stuff. If you again want something down the line to be made, I appreciate your request there, Sonia. I know you said thank you, so no problem. Um, Gotta go. Tomorrow night I'm off, so maybe I will be here at 8 o'clock, and at the same time I was last tonight, and I will try and do a 2 hour show if you want me to. Whatever, if I keep getting requests, I will keep doing requests because I don't have to be anywhere or do anything else. So, with that said, thank you very much for being there. As always, carpe vitro, and enjoy your. Where am I at? There I am. Okay. Enjoy your day.